Dandridge, welcome to American Black Journal.
Stephen, thanks for having me. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you're here because you and I had a conversation in a board meeting about a month ago that made me think I wanted our viewers here on American Black Journal to hear the things you were saying. You were talking to the board of the Hudson Weber Foundation about the challenges, the specific challenges that Black businesses and nonprofits face in making sure they have enough money. And you weren't just talking about the typical barriers, you were talking about things like networking and connections and the kind of intrinsic things that make it easier for people who are part of the majority population to get things started and keep them going. I thought it was one of the most insightful things I had heard about Black businesses and nonprofits.
Yeah, well, thanks. I mean, I think, we're aware in the work that we do that there are systemic issues that are just persistent, and we're constantly trying to overcome those. But I also think that there's some nuance to things. I think one of the things that when you're talking about capital, access to capital, now that everybody's kind of like taking it as a core value to be about equity and equality, I think that some of the organizations that are out there just aren't necessarily ready to pull it off or don't know how to. So one of the things that I try to encourage the Black entrepreneur, be it for-profit or the nonprofit sector, is to be very intentional about the way that they network, right? I think that's a part of the lack of access is our networks. The way I view it is part of the problem, part of the solution to the problem is what we organically bring to the table through our lived experience, our understanding to those systemic issues that are there. We have a wealth of that. So like I can pick up my phone and reach out at any given time to a number of people that understand our plight and have come up with some of the solutions, right? Be it, as a practitioner, right? Like solving the problem because, it was a struggle that they had personally or someone in their family. But that's a part of the solution. The thing that we don't often have is the people in our phone that we can reach out to that can provide seed money, right, for our business, for profit or nonprofit. And I think that's one of the things that I've been able to learn as I've been on this journey, and I often try to share it. But I think, as our allies or our partners that are out there looking to solve the problem, one of the things I challenge them to do often is to understand that we don't come to the table empty-handed. Oftentimes, the posture in these conversations are, the money is a need for us to do the work or us to, run our business. But I think that there's a need on the other side, right? Oftentimes, the foundations are tasked with saying we're going to use these dollars to change the world. And what I understand, and some of the people that I work with understand, if not, I try to encourage them or push them a little bit to understand that you can't do it without us, right? Like those of us that are out here and committed our lives to solving the problems, like we come to the table, answer to your need and what you're lacking, right? So it's important that the posture is a certain way for anybody that we're looking to partner with. And that was a conversation I had with some folks over at Hudson Weber before we got to the board meeting. And I was happy that they responded like a real partner would.
Yeah. So let's talk specifically about how Black Leaders Detroit works. What is it that you're doing to help Black businesses and nonprofits bridge that gap, to make those connections that they don't always have intrinsically?
Yeah. So basically, we are the pot of money. That's what we desire to be, a pot of money that the Black entrepreneurs in Detroit can look to when they need funding. And the way that we go about that is, the way we're structured is we provide grants for the nonprofit sector, and a no interest loan that we're excited to roll out this month and start receiving applications for our no interest loan product. That's going to launch this month. That's the way for profits. That's the way we were originally set up. But we decided to pivot April of 2020 when we saw the devastation that the pandemic was causing on the small business community. And we decided to provide grants for the small business community as well as the nonprofit sector. And, we're excited to say that we've given away over $400,000 to Black-owned businesses or led nonprofits since April of 2020. And all of those were grant dollars that we have raised with through our membership, but also some of the foundations and corporate sponsorships.
Yeah. And so that's meeting the immediate needs of these businesses and nonprofits. But what about that bigger picture that you were talking about developing those networks, developing those connections so that the next person who says, I got a business idea or I want to start a nonprofit has more access to that other capital?
Agreed. I think, again, being intentional about that, right? One of the things that we have to see as a responsibility if we are raising money for our business or a nonprofit that we're leading or we're a part of, when you're able to create that network and you have access and you get in front of the people that are able to write big checks, they see that there's talent here, right? Like, we are very talented. We're really, really gifted. And we have the same drive, work ethic that as anybody else that they may be already writing checks to. Once they have the access to us in that way, what it does is now I'm able to reach out and make a call for the next person coming down the line. I'm able to make an introduction. And the other thing is I'm tearing down the narrative that, oftentimes our white colleagues have in their minds, or others, right, about us when it comes to the type of talent that we have, the ability that we have. We're giving them something to combat the narrative of the images that they've seen about us historically.
Yeah, it's a really great program. And one of the things I love about it is you saw a need and you filled it. There's so much opportunity to do that in our city, and not everybody is ready to jump in there the way you did. So congratulations. And of course, thanks from the community here in Detroit for all of the work that you're doing. Dwan Dandridge, thanks so much also for joining us here on American Black Journal.
Thanks for having me.